All right, I'm here at the Renaissance Hotel, and with me today I've got John Lee of goldmal.com. John and I go back a few years. John worked with James Turk in the beginning of this recent bull market in gold, and it's a very sharp guy. I'm very impressed by John. John's been an admirer of mine, and vice versa, I'm an admirer of his. John, you have a fund now that you have, and I'd like you to just tell our viewers what it entails, what the qualifications are, and how you run it.
Sure. Thanks, David, for having me. Well, my name is John Lee, and I write articles, as some of you might have seen or read, at kitco.com and silverinvestor.com. 3 years ago, we started a private equity hedge fund that focuses on investing in junior resource market. In the last 3 years, it's done fairly well, averaging about 20-25% a year.
All right, so what are the qualifications? I mean, can just anybody get into this fund, or do you have to have a certain minimum requirement of capital where you qualify to get into your fund?
Yes, that's a good question, David. The regulation, SEC, dictates that you must have over $1.5 million in net worth. But investors come to me, I mean, if you have only $1.5 million, I cannot take more than 10% of your liquid net worth, for reasons that this is an extremely speculative sector of what we're investing in, and there's extreme volatilities. But at the same time, you're sacrificing liquidity and having to endure volatility in return for greater return. That's the theory.
So what do you do on your general criteria, John? Do you look for like the private placement opportunities and get in on ground floor on most of your stuff, or do you look for well-seasoned companies, or do you have a mix? What's your basic profile?
Right. Well, not typical to a regular hedge fund that does hedging and etc. Our specialty is finding undiscovered opportunities out there. We follow very strict to the we follow very diligently to the management. Management is number one criteria, and we justify our fee structure by really getting into companies that are grassroots or before everybody else knows. And we're based out of Vancouver, which is the junior mining universe of the world, very much like Silicon Valley for the .coms. And therefore, a lot of good opportunities there that never leave the Vancouver circle. By the time the financing gets to New York and LA and everybody else, it's already sort of in the distribution phase that nobody else wants.
So what would be a minimum that someone could invest? I mean, if I had the qualifications, but I wanted to come in your fund, but I kind of almost want to put in a small amount, kind of test your skills for a year or so, what would I have to put up to find out?
Right. Well, the minimum investment is $100,000, and I prefer investors who usually already have invested in the metals and in the junior sector and understand the sort of intensity and work required, both on discoveries of new companies and also on the trading side of things. And so $100,000 is the minimum, and that's that.
Do you have any liquidity problems as far as people wanting to get cash out where you'd actually have to sell a position, or do you have enough cash that it takes care of most withdrawals, or how's that set up?
Sure, David. Right now there's $10 million asset under management. So anything under $1 million, usually it's a 30-day redemption notice, and I don't have any lockup period. Simply, I think that investors should be entitled to their money whenever they want. And the portfolio is very well diversified into over 50 positions. So even under conditions where there's not much interest or volume in the junior market, there is still sufficient liquidity that I can raise the amount of money necessary for redemption. And plus, with the market buoyant as they are, there's money coming in literally every other month. So it's never been an issue so far.
Very good. So I'm going to give you the hard questions now. I want to know so far, what has been your best stock and your worst stock?
Well, we're lucky in the last 12 months. We had a stock we bought into at 30 cents. The name is Southern Arc. They were involved in Indonesia. But there were a little bit of uncertainty back last year when when the pollution trial with Newmont, and subsequently after the dust cleared, the stock went from 30 cents to over $2. So it was a 10-bagger for us. A second winner for us was Tyler Resources. We got in below 50 cents, and recently was acquired by the Chinese group Jinshan for over at $1.60. So that's another good 3-4 bagger for us. Oh yeah, by the way, the worst there's been many positions that have endured pain, and I mean usually, a number of positions are down 30 to 50%, and that's not abnormal for in this today's climate in the juniors market. But again, the key is diversification and make sure that you spread your eggs thin enough. I mean, do enough baskets that one or two winners is going to pan out well enough that you can compensate for all of other losses.
Very good. So if people want more information, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
All right. My email address is john@maocapital.com, john@maocapital, spells M as in Mary, AU Capital. Or just call me at my 800 number, 800-851-1528. Again, it's 800-851-1528.
I'm not going to let you off quite that easy. You have a website as well, correct?
Yes. Well, I publish a lot of articles almost bi-monthly. And you can find out an archive of all of my writings going back 2 years at my other website. It's goldmao.com. It's goldmau.com.
Thank you, John. It's been a pleasure.
All right.
I wish you every success.
Same as David. Thanks.